In this clip, we're up in Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park. And beyond the majestic lookouts and the wonderful views in this part of northern Sydney, we're going to go deep into the bush to explore the beautiful world of an illustrator, Belinda Elliot. So this is the kind of art that Belinda draws, and noisy miner being one of our native honey eaters, so it is related to our natural environment around the Sydney area and quite common in a lot of suburban areas. So what is it about that natural world that entices you so?
It's like through a child's eye. It's always new. Yeah. And there's always something to explore and see that's different, and nature is unpredictable, and so it's always a surprise. That's how I see the natural environment. I think what's so beautiful about nature and being in it and just sitting and observing it.
If we relate back to a few minutes ago when we were setting up the camera, and within that few minutes we had a tree creeper come along, we had the cicadas and a few cicada shells that were left behind, we had those eastern yellow robins come and perch, and so within like just a few minutes.
And the noise and the glossy blacks possibly calling in the distance.
Yeah, so I totally get what you're saying there about when you're in the environment, the spontaneity, the things that just happen.
I would love to show people the personality of the bush and the creatures in the bush. I want to put it into a different perspective rather than it being lost in a huge environment, to narrow in and focus on one little part of it. Gives me a lot of pleasure. It allows me to do the same thing and to look at something in such detail and watch its movements, its personality, and then to interpret that.
I love that story you shared about its mate who was coming up and pooping on your...
I have a noisy miner that visits me quite often, and I don't have screens on the window, so often it'll just come in and it's taken to perching on the easel. And yeah, little miner, so he's checked it out. He was pecking at it yesterday, so I think I'm thinking maybe it's finished now, because if it thinks it's an actual real miner, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. That is amazing.
Trying to peck at it.
Chance you're not aware what flower this is. It is a
flannel flower.
A flannel flower.
Actinotis.
And when Belinda showed me this, it was quite an amazing illustration, and the story of Belinda's artwork here associated with this particular drawing. If you could share us. Now, would you call this a drawing or a painting? Or
that's a watercolour painting.
It's a watercolour painting.
Watercolour painting. So these little flannel flowers were growing in a massive grove down the track here, and in my lunch break I'd go for a little walk and see them shining. So I started to sketch them and so forth, and one day I came back and someone had chopped off all their heads. Yes, but I luckily had caught enough of them to be able to come and take this beautiful paper that is handmade in Spain.
Handmade in Spain?
Handmade in Spain. Woo. It's so thick and lovely, and it's really absorbent, and it suits flannel flowers because it's so absorbent that it's the flannel flowers are soft and fluffy, and the paper is kind of soft and fluffy. When you put a drop of colour into it, it disperses. So yeah, that's the story of that painting.
the flannel flower that colour, the water, what do you call it,
Watercolour painting.
Watercolour painting on paper that was handmade in Spain.
Yes.
I don't want to ask how much it cost.
It was expensive.
And I would suspect you'd only get one go at that.
Absolutely, especially with that paper because it's so absorbent. Sometimes you can lift mistakes off a watercolour paper, but that one is so natural and so raw that once it's on there, it's there. You can't get rid of it.
And so, because why I ask that question is firstly to honour your talent, because that would be, I'd be too scared to make even a pencil stroke that I could rub out on that kind of paper. And secondly, do you feel yourself potentially in danger? Because some of the stuff that's coming out in computer generated graphics and all this artificial intelligence, and where you can adjust scenes and you can add scenes and you can draw from all these other, let's call them raw watercolor paintings. Let's say I wanted to some kind of image of a flannel flower. Apparently the artificial intelligence goes and grabs examples, is that right? And then creates it.
And then if you pay for an AI art program, then you can instruct, I want to change this on it, I want to change that on it, and the computer will do it for you. So you really just need to have the mental image, and it will draw from lots of different areas from the internet to create the perfect picture that you want. So yeah, there is a real danger, and I think as an artist I would like much stronger control over who is using my images.
This is a very immersive thing. Like, there's the sounds, there's the feel, there's the smells. It's just such a, you said it before, visceral experience. And you're looking to bring the feelings that are evoked through these sensory opportunities, these sensory inputs, into a illustration that you would hope influences other people.
Absolutely.
So what are we missing when we have artificial intelligence?
Is bringing new content and new thought and original thought into our artwork. I think it is the connection between the artist and what they're interpreting, and then hopefully that connection comes through to the viewer. If it's successful, then it should come through to the viewer.
Versus a fabricated scene.
Yeah,
that AI does.
Absolutely, yeah. And to keep us in employment, I guess, or being able to make money from art, I think there needs to be at least a respect for having the choice of whether or not to use your artwork.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I think that goes like musicians have been in this field for quite a long time. You know, their music getting used.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
And getting modified and repurposed, etc. Well, I just wonder, what's the final message you'd like to leave the viewers? The one I'm getting from you is that get out in the environment and notice those little things, notice the nuance, and through that you'll get to notice a lot more and start your own journey. Yeah,
take time. Yeah, that's nice.
It's a spontaneity that you talk about. It's all that kind of stuff that goes on.
Makes it fun.